Hello there, everyone. So welcome to a faction overview, this time of Dale, for this Third Age Divide and Conquer 1.2. Basically, I would like to talk about several things. First of all, let's check on a brief overview. They need to destroy Easterlings of Ruin and Shadow of Mirkwood and hold 30 regions, including, of course, their capitals. So that means going through the woods into Dol Guldur, defeating them, and also going on the other side against Easterlings. Pretty much the good thing that you have about this is that they are pretty much your only two enemies. I know other than the orcs at the Misty Mountains, there's no one that can actually come over here, and face you. Perhaps Mordor will become a problem, but by the time that Mordor will become a problem, will already have a lot of settlements and the necessary tools to defend against that. And for sure, you won't have problems against Harad or anything like that, or Dunland or Isengard. So pretty much those are your two enemies. So you can build an army that will defeat both of them fairly easy. Now, talking about this will still be a long campaign, of course, because you have to move into two directions. Whenever you have to move into two directions, I would say that it's a long campaign, specifically when they're far away from each other. Of course, it's not on the other side of the map. It's not Isengard, for instance, but still, it's still a long campaign. Now, you do have some easy picks early on. I mean, there's a lot of rebel settlements nearby. This pretty much all is rebel settlements. And you also start with immediately two of them that he states, Bur Alg and this other city here, Bourmerlinge. So you should consider those. Now you've noticed that I've taken away all my generals outside.
Yes,
this is just to show you another thing regarding this. So they have very good mercenaries to hire. These privateer X-Men and privateer cavalry. They're good on themselves. Of course, they are expensive, but do consider that they fill roles that your normal units cannot have. I mean, you won't start with heavy cavalry, and you won't have such a good unit earlier on. So you can use this to get a very good advantage. Also, your units are pretty much royal archers, which are basically 7 attack archers, which is already good, with it effective against armor. I mean, this just means that these guys are kind of like the crossbowmen against armor. They will do a lot of damage. They also have an interesting ability. Let me show you this. What does it say that? The bonus against the Eastling Cataphract Cavalry. So do not fear them. Tell your royal archers to hit them, by the way, guys. Do note that. You do start with the spy, which is excellent because this is a very long place. This is also some archers. This isn't. These are pikemen, Lake Town pikemen. The most ineffective of infantry units, I would say, for a general. It's usually difficult to move them around, so he will be quite vulnerable against anything except, the usual cavalry. And then you have the body here, which is much better unit. I mean, King Bane actually has that. I wish this was something like a Dunedain archer unit or something like that, but they don't really have those. Now let's talk about what you should start with. So you have good marks, we already discussed that, and you have forts. You have 1, 2. If I'm not mistaken, there's another fort nearby here, or someone around here. Then you have this other fort. Use them wisely, because this will mean that you can get a lot of units early on, and don't care about their upkeep. Of course, the upkeep will be a problem very soon. Now let's talk about units very quickly. Sorry about that, guys. So let's talk about units very quickly. Let me show you, not the show settlement details, the building browser. Let me see, like if it was on a castle. Cavalry, you start with 2 units, then you have the third on the next level. Dale Cavalry 510, this is basic medium to light cavalry. Then you have the horse guards, the Io Yuthida, whatever. Sorry about that, guys. I never read that. I didn't practice. These are pretty much the same thing. If you consider this thing, the upkeep, it's only 80 more. So I would always get these guys as fast as possible and ignore the Dale Cavalry. This is heavy cavalry, of course, and skilled against mounts. Then you have the Earls, who are not skilled against mounts. Do note that. Do note that. They're very expensive, but these are just the best cavalry that you can afford. So, of course they should be expensive. Now, in terms of barracks, let me show you. You start only with these Rovending Godrots and Dalian Swordsmen. Pretty much a swordsman and a spearman unit. Then you can have some pikemen, barons, and then you can have some other units. Let me show you. So Dalian Swordsmen, pretty much basic melee infantry. Rovending Godrots, pretty much good against mounts. This will be your basic infantry all throughout the game. Then you have some body here, which they're skilled against mounts. Do note that they have lost their ability of the wall, I believe, and they're very expensive in upkeep, so I wouldn't go for that. The Dale Swordsmasters, these are your hack unit, you know, double-handed swords, so just go for these guys. And then you also have this beautiful pikeman unit. I mean, they're very heavily armored. So these guys are not like standard halberdiers or pikes. They can form the spear wall, and they will have the necessary defense for that. You know, usually they are vulnerable to missiles, which these guys aren't. Then you have barons or earls previously, which are your heaviest infantry always. Of course, you also have some different stuff later on, but you know, for now. Then you have a good thing, which is the Dalian Longbowmen. Missile attack 4, yeah, it doesn't seem like too much, but they're very cheap, and their range is pretty decent. I mean, this is about as average as you can have, which means that it's a good unit to have no matter what. Then you have the Athala Rangers, which have a better missile attack, almost the same upkeep, and much higher accuracy and range. Get these guys as fast as you can. And finally, you have the Bardian Marksmen. Effective against armor with a missile attack of 6 and a decent accuracy, and there's still bonuses against Easterling Cataract. So go for these guys as soon as you can. Trust me, you will like them. Now, in terms of siege, of course, you can get the ballistas and catapults. Nothing there. Roads, food production. I believe you do have. Yeah, there we go. This is something that I consider a bonus for them, because you can get Hearth Watchman, which is a basic spearman unit, Dalian Yeoman, a basic cavalry unit, Dalesman, a basic effective against armor unit, Woodsman, a basic ranged unit, and Riverman, a basic javelin unit. You can get almost every single type of unit just by building farms, which I strongly advise. So you'll be increasing your economy, and you will also have that. Mines don't work on every single place. Fort town posts, you do have the fort town posts, which is nice. And of course the castle hall buildings, do consider them, of course. Now, in terms of the city, you also have some other stuff. The entertainment, no, town hall, which the banks, well, that will only approach in some points, so nothing there. Now, in terms of the early game, I believe there's a shipwright in Dale that you can build, or the roads that will provide the most. Yeah, these roads will provide the most, but it will leave you immediately with no money, so consider that. The roads, of course, will provide a lot of income early on. And let me just show you, because the shipwright doesn't provide a lot, exactly, and the grain exchange doesn't provide a lot. So do consider, guys, building those roads initially. It leaves you depleted, but it will also provide some good income. You know, you can always capture some places to get something else. There's no mines or anything that will provide you some good early income, so consider conquests for getting some earlier income. Also, you can, just start recruiting units and send them to the forts. Dale can support 3 units at least in free upkeep.
Yes,
I guess it can actually support 4, not just 3.
Your orders, my lord.
This can support 1, so you can just send these units like this.
Yes,
trust
my
me,
lord.
that'll be quite effective.
Your orders, my
I
lord.
can send like this.
Yes, my lord.
There you go, so that you get all the upkeep that you can earlier on. You do not start with a good economy. And this daily navy, it costs 150, but it will help out in terms of the crossings, because if not, you can have to go over there, or you have to go all the way over here. They have diminished the crossings that you can have through the river, so consider having the daily navy just to help and assist over here in crossing the river. So I think that was it in terms of the finances, in terms of the military. I think the early army is very weak, but it's good against what you'll find, because you still have your generals to deal with a lot of units. You have good you have good effective against armor. You have some basic spearmen, and you will be able to muster some medium spearmen as well, some good archers. So it's kind of like the basic let's stay and kill the enemy. Lots of archers, lots of spearmen, and some basic cavalry to assist you. So you have the early game that you need against your earlier foes, and in the late game you have exactly what you need. You have exactly what you need: good pikes, good standing infantry, good archers, and great cavalry. So pretty much after that everything should be fine. Now your initial generals
Your orders,
should
my
have some fights in order to
Yes,
raise
my
the command.
lord.
They are all very weak, but you
Your
start
or-
already with
yes,
5
your
of them,
or-
and some
yes,
of them have
your
already a
orders, my
special
lord.
ability. And usually it's
Yes,
the
my
Iron
lord.
Fist or Leadership,
Your
as you
orders,
can
my
see,
lord.
see there.
Yes, my lord.
Yeah, 2 of them you start already with
Your orders, my
some
lord.
good stuff. I wouldn't use this general in at all. He's a pikeman unit. He's pretty much better to stay just in Dale to get you know, a little bit of income bonus, a little bit of management bonus. Now you start with an ally, which is the dwarves, and do consider that this helps you so much. Pretty much your capital is just fine against anything that comes up. You start with a spy, like you've seen here, and
My
you can
lord.
acquire a diplomat, which I would certainly advise as soon as possible here. This would probably be the early recruitment, so that you can get some human or even the revenue good drafts. So that you can speak with everyone. You can talk to the elves. The elves would probably go for another another
Yes, my lord.
moment there. So pretty
Your
much
orders,
just
my lord.
hold on. Use this army to conquer Burmelinge. Use anything that you can have, muster it to go and conquer Bur Alge. And after that, use your forts as effectively. That's my advice. You have time in the beginning, so use it wisely. And I think that's all about it. No special buildings that I can think of. They pretty much need all the buildings, so that's a big of a problem. Uh, but yeah, it's a very interesting army. It's a very interesting faction with a very interesting army, and I think you guys will love it. So, yep, that is my take. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next one. Cheers!